This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, December the 12th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Before we start on our regular Weather Extreme video, I wanted to hit a couple of high points here. The U.S. Drought Monitor shows that much of the drought over the eastern two-thirds of the country is way off now, with very little drought. But, of course, the drought continues for the western states. And then our friends at Weather Bell put together an interesting probability map of the snow depth equal to or greater than 1 inch on Christmas Day. And, of course, as you would expect, the probability of that in the southeastern U.S., especially only North Alabama, is between 0 and 10%. So we don't usually have white Christmases, and it looks like there's not much hope of that this year. Surface map features a high-pressure system centered off the South Carolina coast, and that is helping to bring good moisture flow into the lower Mississippi River Valley in the southeastern U.S. Ahead of the system developing in the southern, generally the southern Rockies. In the upper atmosphere, our 500 millibar pattern shows a nice ridge that is bulging all the way from the Gulf all the way up across the southeastern U.S. into southeastern Canada. So the ridge pretty well defined there, and we have a closed low and a nice trough over the Baja and southwestern United States, Baja California, and that will be kicking out. But fortunately for us, I guess, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the upper ridge is going to hold pretty steady. Temperatures this morning, very mild. As a matter of fact, we should see lows this time of year down in the 30s. We're nowhere near that. We're a good 20 degrees above that. And it looks like the warm weather will continue today and Sunday. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect for much of the southern two-thirds of Alabama, generally south and southeast of the Interstate 59 corridor and extending over into central Georgia. All the purple and pink and aqua colors you see out there in the western United States, those are all winter weather advisories, warnings, watches, and whatever. The quantitative precipitation forecasting looks like with this system coming through our area, looks like we won't have a great deal of rain, but on the order of probably a half to 1 inch will be possible with this system. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a slight risk over parts of Oklahoma and Texas for day 1. That's today. Day 2, they're showing a marginal risk over southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana, but they've taken away the risk for us. And then on day 3, we only have thunderstorms in the forecast. All right, the 060 GFS model run this morning, and there's our surface high, and that is helping to increase the southerly flow over the lower Mississippi River Valley, and are going to be tightening up that pressure gradient. So I think that Sunday will be a bit of a windy day for us. You can see that pressure gradient getting pretty tight on Sunday. This is the map at 18Z as the surface low begins to kick out to the northeast. In the upper atmosphere, we have that closed low with the associated trough coming across the Texas Panhandle, and that too will be butting up against the ridge, so it will actually be deflected a little to the northeast. The Cape values around midnight from the GFS forecast show very little, if anything, in the way of instability. So while I think we will see a bit of a squall line, I doubt that we'll even have a great deal of thunder with it. The only thing that's concerning is that shear values, the storm relative helicity, that the shear values are up there. These are in the 400 to 500 range, so that's certainly sufficient for severe weather. So it's one of those things where, and we also have right off the surface, we also have some very strong winds, so we're going to have to be careful and watch for that. We may see, we still have some potential, but it's not nearly as significant as we thought some days ago. By Monday, the closed low in the upper atmosphere is approaching Lake Michigan, and that will drag the front through our area. So as a result, the rain should be ending from west to east across the western half of Alabama by noontime, and then decreasing across the eastern sections in the afternoon. Tuesday, we come back under the ridge, so we don't really have a time to cool off much. We cool off some. It's going to seem colder because we're dropping out of these extremely warm values, but we're still going to stay above the seasonal averages. That system Wednesday is kicking into the Great Lakes and dragging once again another front across the southeastern U.S., but again, with all the dynamics very far north, the Cape values for instability just aren't there. So I don't think we'll see much in the way of thunderstorms with that one either. That system begins to kind of almost dumbbell a little bit over the Great Lakes and helps to increase the northwesterly flow. So this system, we should be seeing some cooler temperatures by the end of the week into Friday and Saturday as we get back to lows in the 30s and highs in the 50s. By Friday, that northwesterly flow is setting up with a bit of a trough over the eastern part of the country. And into Saturday, we see that northwesterly flow with a ridge along the eastern slopes of the Rockies. So once again, with high pressure generally to our west and northwest, we should at least be closer to seasonal values for this time of year. Looking out into Voodoo country, the GFS continues to be rather active. We see a nice close low and trough coming out around the 22nd. Doing an intermediate time and stopping on the 25th, it looks like we should be under a ridge with a fairly low latitude trough over Baja California. And then that one kicks out, but weakens as it does around Saturday the 26th. So we may see some wet weather following Christmas, but right now it looks like Christmas will be mild and dry for us. That'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this Saturday morning. I'll have the next one Sunday morning. In the meantime, stay tuned to the blog for notes on Alabama's weather. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great day. Do some random acts of kindness, and Godspeed.